What's up? Roger Ratchet coming at you again. This is 2 days after the last video on the Elantra, and we're back on it again today. And we've come up with a somewhat of a plan. We do believe, yesterday, I didn't make a video of it, but I come down to the Elantra and took a mirror to the back side of the engine. And I do believe I saw some streaking where the oil has been leaking out the back side of the valve cover. And just a minute ago, I pulled spark plugs number 1 and 2. There was no oil in the cylinders, but there was some oil on the plugs themselves. This car has been run for about a minute, just cleaning out the oil out of the cylinders. But we do believe that our whole issue is the valve cover gasket. So today we are going to change the valve cover gasket, the seals for spark plug tubes, and we're going to put it together and fill it up with oil, and we're going to take it for a test run. We'll probably drive it for at least a half hour. Then we'll pull the coils for cylinders 1 and 2, and we'll take a peek down in there, see if there's any oil down in there. If we do not have any oil, I believe our problem will be fixed. Okay, so let's take a look at this mess I got going here. Yeah, I like that. First thing we're going to do, I already knocked one of these seals out, not on purpose, but we're going to just take a regular screwdriver and in the top of our valve cover, we're going to stick it past this first lip, not on it. We're going to go into our second lip in there. And I don't know if you can see this or not. Screwdriver is on that second lip, which is the seal, and we're just simply going to push, and out comes the seal. And we'll do that with the other 2. And you don't need a hammer, guys. You use a hammer, you're going to risk breaking the valve cover. It's just plastic, and it don't take a lot to knock these out. I mean, you just basically push on, maybe a slight tap with your finger on the screwdriver, and it'll pop right out. Now, second thing we're going to do is set my screwdriver over here and throw that seal out of the way. And we are going to get this whole gasket up out of the way. And from the looks of things, they have partially glued, it looks like, some sort of silicone, partially glued a couple parts of that. Yeah, let me see if I have a screwdriver, or not a screwdriver. See if I have a scraper with me down here. I know I used to have one in this. Oh, there we go. Looks like it's very well used. But, yeah, just a paint scraper, guys. It's all I've ever used. I know some guys will use a knife. I don't like doing that, because if you don't get your angle perfect, you can nick into the head, which is just aluminum, and we don't want to do that. You just want to get the angle of a putty knife in there And we never scrape toward the inside of the engine. Always scrape from the inside of the engine toward the outside, because you don't want that stuff falling down in your engine. It can be catastrophic. And it looks like that's the only two places that we had glued. Okay. Let me set this aside real quick. And this, we're going to take just a regular rag, and we're going to go around this. And same thing like the scraper, guys. Never go toward the inside of the engine. Always start at the inside and wipe toward the outside. Like I said, you do not want this inside of your engine. I mean, it just takes a couple pieces of dirt, or well, one speck of dirt in one bearing, and next thing you know, you're replacing the engine. And we want to get this nice and clean, guys, because we don't want it to leak. We'll go all the way around this. And it'll probably be easier if you unplug the injectors, get these plugs out of your way, but myself, I've got enough room here to work around it. And that right there, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but that's not anything I need to worry about. That's just staining. Staining is all it is. So now that we got that cleaned up, we are going to clean up on our valve cover a little bit. And for this, oh, I'm trying to knock you guys over here. Okay. Didn't have you bent right. Okay, for this, I'm just using brake cleaner. Some people don't like using it because they say it's got moisture in it. I can't tell. Once the alcohol in it dries, it's dry. So what we're going to do is, if I can see, if you can see, okay, we're going to take and spray out on the inside where these seals go here. And around where the gasket goes. We're going to go all the way around this. And we'll dump that out. Okay. Now don't get too excited, guys. You don't want to immediately put this back on there. We want to let this sit for a minute. Let this alcohol content actually go to work. We'll set this over here a little bit and let that alcohol content go to work and dry that up for us. Big reason being, some gaskets it could be harmful. So while we are waiting on that to dry, Trying to knock you guys over everywhere I go. Okay, I think you can see it right there. If you remember, we had 2 camshaft sensors here. One there and one here. And what we're going to do is we'll take our rag. We'll clean up as much heavy stuff as we can off of here. And we're not going to use the brake cleaner on this, guys, because the only cleaner you want to use on this is for like electronics, because you don't want to possibly warp this plastic and render this sensor useless. No need in replacing stuff that you don't have to. But we will take as much of this stuff off of here with our rag as we can. And those look pretty good to me. And we'll set our rag aside. And then let's take a look here. Okay. Looks like she dried up pretty good. Now, the way I've got this laying, guys, it goes on the engine like this, so I'm just simply flipping it over and laying it out right here. Then, we're going to take our gasket and we're going to lay it around, and there's a groove in this valve cover that this goes up into. And by theory, that is supposed to hold that gasket into place while we get our valve cover set in place. Now, I know different manufacturers make gaskets differently, and sometimes that doesn't always work. Sometimes they just fall right out of there. But this is a Felpro gasket. I know some of you guys are going, oh no, not Felpro. Well, I've never had any bad luck with Felpros. That's what we're going with. And Velpro, or Felpro, if I can learn English, Felpro, they usually fit pretty snug in those little crevices they give you. Excuse me, guys. And then these are your seals for your center bolts. And if you remember, when we took this off, the one between cylinders 3 and 4, this one here, it was all mangled up. Let me see, yeah. I still have it laying here if I get a hold of it. Yeah, it was all mangled up in there. And I had, I don't know, some kind of plastic around it. Like somebody tried to maybe put it down inside of some plastic and set it down in there, or maybe they didn't clean the old gasket out good enough and it had plastic on it. I don't know, but it was not a good sight. And I think we'll clean these off a little bit. The only thing that should be there is just oil, but yeah, we'll give them a rub anyway. Yeah, just give it a rub. Okay. Now that we've got our gaskets all in place, let me see. If I can turn you guys a little bit here. Well, with the exception of me getting my fat butt in the way, I think you should be able to see what I'm doing here. Now, these gaskets usually tend to sit in there pretty snug, but we're still going to be as easy as we can with this, just to make sure that we don't jar it, shake it, rub it on something, and knock it out of there. And after we get it up here, we're going to go around get that out of the way to help. We're going to go around, look at our gasket all the way around, just to make sure that it's in the proper place. And don't forget our bolt hose here, which might be what happened to this one that got mangled. They might have dropped it out and didn't look before they tried to bolt it down, and it mangled it. Okay, well, looks like we're good, so we just take our bolts, get them started. And we're just starting them by hand, or I should say finger. The hand really doesn't do much if you don't have the fingers involved. You got to learn to work that magic with the fingers. And we're going to go ahead and set these cam sensors in their holes. That way we don't dirty them up again before we get to put the bolts in them. And this is Elantra 1.8 liter, which I believe the 2.0 liter should be the same. You will have a little bit of leeway in all your holes because of the type of bolt they use. So you may have to move the valve cover this way or that way to get them started. You've got room to do that. And there's a lot more bolts in the valve covers than what there were in the valve covers when I grew up. But that's actually a good thing, because those valve covers tended to leak over time, and you had to go and retorque, and when the retorquing didn't work anymore, then you had to change valve cover gaskets. Okay, now we've got all of those started. Well, I do not, let's get that cardboard out of my way. Oh, I left my ratchet way over there by the toolbox. We're not using the ratchet yet, guys. Right now, we're just turning these down by hand until they feel snug by the finger. And I know there's a torquing sequence, and we will use that, just not on this step, because this step it doesn't matter, because we're not putting any torque on them, we're just finger tight at this point. And The torque on these are supposed to be between 72 and 84 inch-pounds. Now, inch-pounds, don't get that confused with foot-pounds. Inch-pounds are a lot less than a foot-pound. This calls for 72 to 84 inch-pounds. I think I saw in a book where it's like somewhere around 5 to 7 foot-pounds. These plastic valve covers, well, anything plastic for that matter, they torque down a little bit differently than metal. I mean, it kind of the same if you have a high torque value, but if you have a low torque value like these, they don't torque the same as metal. You climb to your goal little by little. That's so you don't put too much stress on one part of it and not enough on the other, and it ends up cracking on you. So you go up in steps. But this one, 72 to 84, that is a 12 inch-pound difference. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 plus 72 is 78, which is right in the middle. So we're going to go 78 inch-pounds. Okay, they are now finger tight, and that's where we're going to stop with that. Let me get me a little bit shorter extension here. And of course I need a torque wrench also. Now, this is a 1/4 inch drive. That's what my inch odometer is, incherometer, whatever you want to call it. But see, it's just a little guy. So what we're going to start out at is let's do well, let's start out with 20. Yeah, sounds like a good place to start. We'll start out with 20. Make sure we're turning in the right direction, and we'll start in the middle here. And see, finger tight. We got a little ways to go just to get to 20. Well, that seems like an awful lot for 20. Oh, okay. We're there. And let's twist this one down. And there's 20. Let me back this one off and reset it, because that just seemed like an awful lot for 20. And this is a click type torque wrench, and 20 inch-pounds is the lowest it'll go, so you won't hear it click. You just got to watch this hit that. Okay, and we have the two middle ones at 20. Now what we're going to do is go back around and finger tighten our other bolts again. As you can see, we're getting more turn out of them now that we got those middle ones slightly torqued. And this just keeps you from having to bend the wrench, the wrist back and forth so much. So finger tighten these ones again. Let me get that hose out of the way. And that one went awful far. Okay. Now, we've got our two middle ones at 20. What we're going to do is simply do our crisscross. We will start with this one here. There's 20. We'll go to this one. Here's 20, and then we'll go to this one. Here's 20. Then we'll go to this one. Here's 20. And then let me come over here on this side so I can get in your way real good. Get this one back here. There's 20. And then we're going to go ahead get this one up here. Yep, there's 20. Get this one back here. Need to get to that side. Here's 20. Now we got this one. Yes. Now we're going to come over here to this one. Or did I already get this one? No. Okay. Here's 20, and we'll come to the one on the corner here. Here's 20. Come to this back corner. You know what, guys? Yeah. Okay. You know what? See that? Oh, what's going on with you? Why won't you stay up here? Okay. You see that bag right there? You know what that is? Yeah. Yep, you guessed it. Our spark plug tube seals. So, full on me today. Okay. I am going to cut this and take this back off. When I get this back off, we'll come back to you and we'll get those in. So we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. We got it pulled back off, flipped upside down, and I believe we're ready to put these seals in. They go in just as easy as they came out. Well, around about. The rounded side needs to go up. The cupped side needs to go down. So basically, well, let's do one at a time. We basically just set it there and just push it in. Use your thumbs and push it in there. And of course, you know, you want to do this before you put the valve cover on the engine. It's a little hard to do once the valve cover is on the engine. Here's number 3. And number 4. Yeah, a little resistance on this one. Okay, here it is. Just using my screwdriver handle to push down on it a little bit. Something does not seem right with this one. So let me pop him back up. And we got nothing in there. Yeah, same thing there. So it's got to be the seal itself. Okay, a little bit stiff right there, so maybe it's just stiff. You know, things get stiff, it can be difficult until you get it softened up again. Okay, yeah, got her in there that time. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Okay, so that's all there is for the spark plug tube seals. I am not going to make you guys watch the torque sequence up to 20 pounds again, so I'm going to flip this back over, get my bolts in, torque them to 20, and then we'll go from there, and we'll pretend like this whole mess didn't happen. Be back in a second. Okay, and we're back. Back to where we were when I realized my mistake. Now we've got it up to 20 pounds. I've already got my torque wrench set. We're going to take it up to 40 pounds now. And on the first round, I forgot about these 2 outside ones in the middle. And we're just going to go right across the center on all of these. And now we do our crissy-cross. Do this one, and we do this one, and we do this one, and then we do this one, we do this one, and then we do this one, this one, and this one, and then this one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to try to find 60 here. Okay, that should be 60. And now we're going to repeat our pattern. And I'll tell you what, guys, there's barely any turning involved. I mean, barely a movement at all. Going 2-inch or 20 inch-pounds. Barely a movement at all. So be mindful of that. Now, I think I already got this one, didn't I? Yeah, okay. So we're going to go here. And if your crisscross is a little bit different, like you decide to go to a different corner, it doesn't really matter as long as you do the crisscross. Okay, now we got 60. Let's do, this is 70 and 78. And that will be our final destination. Ooh. I'll tell you what, guys, inch pounds are different from foot pounds. Inch pounds, you go up 20 inch pounds and you barely move. Foot pounds, you go up 20 foot pounds and feels like you're about ready to break the mold in half. And I'll tell you what, it's not taking much at all. But then again, you know, this is just plastic. Okay, there is that. So we're all torqued down. Now, before we forget, let's get our dipstick in here. And we'll be using that guy again here in a minute. Let us move these up here and get our bolts for our cam sensors and put them in here. And I did not look up the torque specs for these bolts. But They bolt in just like the coils. And I rarely torque coils. I normally just snug them up to where they don't pop out. And just a light snug. Nothing torquey. And that should do for that. And we got some hoses we got to replace here. One here, and where is this? There it is. This guy here. And let me run over here and get me a pair of pliers of sorts. Looks like he'll do. My El Cheapo pair. I think I picked these up at Odd Lots. Well, you guys probably know them as Big Lots. Back when I bought these, it was called Odd Lots. I guess they didn't like that name. But it doesn't matter to me, it's the same store. Same owners, money's going to the same place. Okay, we got those guys on there. Now, what we are going to do is I'm going to turn stands and all so I don't drop you guys again. And what we're going to do is our coils. We're going to take and clean them up. And get up inside there, get all that oil off of them. We'll let that one dry while we're working on the next one. Don't be afraid to use your whole can, guys. This stuff ain't that expensive. It's a lot cheaper to spray out a whole can of this stuff than it is to buy new coils. Okay. Now, we'll set that aside, and whew, I'll tell you what, when it's cold outside, guys, this stuff's a little bit chilly. Now, clean my fingers up just a tad bit. That stuff is a little chilly. And then we're going to grab you guys and turn you back around here so you can see me again, or see what I'm doing again. I know you don't want to see me in this ugly mug. Okay, there we go. Now, let's look. Yep. Looks fairly dry. We're gonna just do a little rub on the outside with the rag. Any residual oil that didn't come off. Set him in place. And I started off cleaning on coil for cylinder number 4. So we start putting them in, starting with cylinder number 4. And I know it doesn't make any difference which way they go back in, but I kind of like to keep everything the way they came out. That way, if there's any slight resistance differences in the wiring, then it shouldn't make a difference in the coil the way it had been received to where it'll burn the coil out. And get a wire in the way. And we need our coil bolts. But yeah, normally if I have a coil go bad or a misfire that isn't diagnosed through the plugs or the wiring, then I'll usually switch coils around to see if the misfire follows the coil. But, you know, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. I mean, if you don't get them back in the way they came out, it doesn't matter. A coil's a coil. And, well, as long as it's coil for the vehicle. There's different voltages involved with different vehicles, but yeah. As long as you get it stuck in the hole and plant that bolt in there, it'll be all good. Now we got that. Where did I tuck those wires? Okay, right there. Let's plug our coils back in. Oh, I see, the clip is broke on that one. Okay. Starting to wonder why it wasn't clipping into place. Okay. And coil number 2. And coil number 1. Now, those are all back in there. Let's take a look around, make sure. Oh, yeah, we didn't get everything back up. We got this wire. Get him in his hole. Snap him in there. Snapped in there. That's why you always give it a once-over look around when you're done to make sure that you didn't have something left that you forgot to put back. And it happens to the best of us. I mean, you just saw I forgot that wire, but giving it one last look over, I saw it. Okay, now what we're going to do is pour dipstick back out, and looks like there might be a, nope, okay, nothing on the dipstick, so we know it's going to take at least, what, a quart and a half? Well, if it put it in limp mode, I would say it'd be around 2 quarts. So, we're going to take some brand new oil. This oil is going to get changed, guys. But before we change the oil, we want to make sure that this fixes our problem. Okay, let's see if I can hit the hole. And just put a little dab in there. And according to our gauge, that was just, looks like it was right at a quart. Okay, so I put my cap right in the way. Stick our dipstick in there, pull it out, take a look. Set this oil over here so it doesn't spill, and oh no, check that again. Okay. We got it touching the stick. Okay. I was starting to worry there, fellas. I was thinking, man, if this takes more than 2 quarts, this engine just might be toast. So let's just squirt another dab of oil in her. Oh, spilled a little bit. That's okay. Just making sure she's lubed up good. And stick this in her again. And we're close, guys. We're getting there. Do another take. It takes a minute for it to run down through the valleys. Okay, so we're almost there. So, let me see, where did that put us on the Oriole? Tell you what, his sight glass is hard to see. I don't know, let me see, that'd be one. I don't know. We'll just put another dab in her and check it again. Okay. Now, if it ain't perfect, it doesn't matter because we're going to be changing this anyway. And okay, we are right at the top line, so that is perfect. So let's clean up a little bit of this mess. Won't do us any good to test drive to see if we solved any oil leaks if we leave our spilled oil in everywhere. Okay, there we go there, and let's put our cap back on, and we will clean up our mess here, and then we're going to take this for a test drive, and it should not any longer be in limp mode. Hopefully we don't have any leaking oil. Our problem will be solved. So I guess stick around and we'll come back at you with the results. Okay, we're back. Got a little bit late and a little dark on me, but yeah, we test drove the Hyundai, and sorry guys, it got dark on me. I'm trying to use my light on my phone so you can see me here. But we test drove the Hyundai, didn't seem to have any problems, didn't seem to be leaking any oil. We will be having the owner keep a check on this daily. Check the oil every single day for at least 30 days. It didn't go into limp mode. The only issue I ran into was a lack of gas, and headlights didn't work on dim. I kept checking fuses and wiring. I finally got it back and decided to check the bulbs. 2 bulbs going out at the same time is unheard of, but not impossible. So upon removing the dust caps, I discovered there were no bulbs in it. So there's a story to be had there to be found out at a later time. But as for right now, it looks good for the Hyundai. So until next time, I'm Roger Ratchet, and thank you. You right there. Thank you for watching.